common theme of those who work in the performing arts is the joy and satisfaction their art brings. Perhaps that is why there are so many people who make countless sacrifices and take countless personal risks to work in creative fields. They endure rejection and financial hardship in order to develop the artist within them. But how do those who are starting out find their inner artist? There's an old showbiz joke about a lost tourist in New York who asks an old man for directions. "How do you get to Carnegie Hall?" The old New Yorker replies, "Practice, practice, practice." But before practice, there is something else. Instruction, education, and training. Before you can practice, you must be taught. Which leads to a largely unsung group of artistic professionals, teachers. Too often, performing arts teachers are not given the credit due them. Too often, it's assumed that those who teach are doing so as some kind of second choice to being an artist themselves. Too often, their contributions are ignored, which is ironic, really, because today we're going to discover how teaching is a creative art form. Damon Kahn, a Twinsburg High School orchestra teacher, tackles some of the misconceptions about his profession.
Some people, think of teaching and music education as being a secondary thing to performing, something to fall back on. I don't feel that way at all. I love teaching. It's what I do.
So, in a way, teachers help to create the creators. Michael Metcalf is a rehearsal director and educator with the Dancing Wheels Dance Company. He describes how teaching is not just imparting knowledge or training or technique. It's a much, much bigger, more complicated job.
You are responsible for sending young people out into this dance world with information that you have imparted. So you have to make sure that the information that you're providing them with is true, correct, and honest.
So if teachers are not frustrated artists, and teaching isn't some sort of substitute for another career, what draws people to it? What leads people to embrace teaching as a life work? We spoke with Martha Franks, a high school drama teacher from Summit County, Ohio, about why she loves teaching.
There's a purity to working with kids, and it's discovering what kids can do. I like the huge discovery. I like the raw canvas. I like the risks that kids have to take, and I love to see what happens to kids. Most of the kids that I work with do not go into theater professionally. Many of them never step on stage again, but they never forget their experience.
If art is capable of changing people, then it's certainly true that teaching is an art. In fact, in a way, teaching itself is a performance. The students are a kind of audience, and the teacher must be able to communicate in a way that educates, enlightens, and engages them, just like a theatrical or musical performance.
My personal philosophy as it relates to being a dance educator is that as an artist, we not only have the ability to create aesthetically pleasing images through dance, but we also, as instructors, have the responsibility to educate as well. That's my own personal belief. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. The circle doesn't complete until you then give it back.
School finances have forced many districts to cut back on programs and courses in the performing arts. Critics will argue that the purpose of school is to prepare young people for real life. And if only a very tiny percentage of students pursue a real-life performing arts career, is it practical? Is it necessary? Or is it a frill? Our teachers respond.
A lot of these students want to go on in careers in music, and a lot of them, may not actually take up careers in music, but it'll be with them for life. They'll play in community groups, they'll play at church, and they'll still have that musical appreciation, and it's a gift that doesn't go away.
No matter what you're interested in, Theater brings out that human part of you. You talk about teamwork, but it's not just teamwork. It's such a disparate group of people. Our tech folks, our costumers, makeup, set design, set building, everything. And then even when you sit and talk about the play, what you know about life enlarges your ability to play a role. And we are always talking about, well, go back, find yourself in the part. Everything that you can learn in life somehow, because that's what plays are. Plays are making life make sense. And like stories are. And plays are a sophisticated form of storytelling. And storytelling is what makes us human. Let me tell you what happened to me today. Let me tell you what my mother used to say. Let me tell you. That's what plays are all about. And when we all sit together and listen to a story together, then we all have an experience together that makes us even more human. And it will be, I went to a reunion of a class that I taught, I think 25 years ago. And a man came up to me and just shook my hand and thanked me so much for changing his life. I had no idea who he was. He had come into a play late. He never thought he could do it. From that, he said that gave him the confidence to go to law school. He now teaches law at Michigan State University in Lansing, Michigan, and practices law. Who knew? Everybody needs to try this. Everybody needs to try it because everybody doesn't get to do it professionally. And everybody takes something away from it. And you come away knowing something about yourself and feeling the power that you have as a person. And I think that's invaluable. If I were queen of the world, and someday I will be, everyone will do a show, at least one show, while they're in high school.
What kind of qualities does a teacher of the performing arts need? How can you grade creative work since it's so subjective? How about the emotional aspects? All of these make teaching the performing arts different than, say, math and science teachers. Because it involves individual talents and personalities, it can be very challenging and difficult, but also ultimately very rewarding.
You have to have a tremendous amount of patience. You have to be able to encourage talented people to use their talent. You have to be able to referee, and of course psychology, and you're constantly working with egos. It helps if you don't have one, because there's plenty of egos out there, and another ego isn't helping.
Seeing that spark in a young person's eye that I had when I got excited about dancing, and which has led me to pursue this career. So when I see that spark in a young person's eye, that they get it, they understand it, they want it, they love it, that keeps me going.
Teaching them a piece of music and getting to that point to where you notice the excitement. They're excited about what they're doing. And, like last night, our performance after we got done, the electricity in the air, and the kids had that high, that performance high that they get, and that makes it all worthwhile. That's got to be the most exciting thing about my job.
Obviously, being able to inspire students is an important part of any teaching job. But performing arts teachers have to do more than lecturing and tests and grades. They have to work and collaborate with students on actual theatrical productions and concerts. What they do outside the classroom involves being a direct partner in a creative endeavor.
Working with kids in theater is working with kids in a way that you can't work with them in the classroom because it's real work. And you really do collaborate. There are kids who care as much about what I'm doing as I do, and many times more.
You have the instructor who gives to the student. For the instructor to be fed, the student has to give to the instructor in terms of energy, in terms of commitment, in terms of just sheer 100%. It's a give and take It's a give and take. The instructor gives, the student gives. It's a partnership.
Because of the collaboration involved in the performing arts, there's another aspect to teaching it. This involves the relationship between the teacher and student. Is it different because of the interaction involved? And if so, does the teacher influence go beyond the skills and guidance needed for the project? To get the answer to these questions and more, we spoke with a few of the people who know it best, students.
My other teachers I probably hardly ever see outside of school, and these ones, we just know them way too well. We all do. It really is like a family. We can sit and talk and eat our dinner and just act like a big family, and it's something that you wouldn't normally think of doing, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
The teacher I have in music and theater, we can be very outgoing, easygoing with him, and it's not really as structured, I guess. They don't demand, I guess, as much in certain ways as other teachers. They pull out hidden strengths more or less than the other teachers, and you form more of a friendship bond.
Well, yeah, it does help you when the choir director comes up to you and says, "What are you getting in that class? You need to be getting better grades in that class. Get your homework in." That helps you bring your grades up real quick.
Is it overgeneralizing to say that these students are more comfortable around their performing arts teachers? Perhaps. But it also appears that these educators are able to influence students in very positive ways. There is a unique kinship that develops between them because of the shared artistic experience, and this kinship provides avenues for communication and development that goes beyond the regular school day.
Most of the time, whenever I'm not on stage, I'm a totally different person, I found out. I'm usually more shy and less outgoing. But whenever I get on stage, it's like that all goes away and I just want to be big, loud, and happy. And so really, it's like myself being able to come out.
For many teenagers, high school can be a very difficult and emotional time. There can be a lot of stress, social relationships become very important, peer pressure, fear of the future, and personality conflicts affect just about every high school student. Judging from the students who spoke with us, the performing arts provide a counterbalance to that. By participating in theater and music, many students find an outlet where they can be accepted for what they do, and not judged by more superficial standards. For many students, the best memories of their high school years will be associated with their experiences in the performing arts.
Just the family that kind of forms backstage. We're just everybody, the actors, the directors, everyone just all together. We really just have a great friendship and great memories that we can share together. It's a lot of fun ideas and memories.
Albert Einstein once said, "It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge." Artists who can also teach know this joy. Michael Metcalf put it this way.
What's the hardest part of being a dance educator? There isn't any. There isn't any. I love it. I love it.
Funding for this series was provided by the Northeastern Ohio Education Association. NEOEA members include elementary and secondary teachers, university professors, and support professionals working to provide great public schools for every child. Teaching materials for Shortcuts to Happiness are available on the web at pbs4549.org/shortcuts.